So you go to work so you can have enough money to be able to pay your car payment and house and stuff like that, buy food and stuff, so that what? So that you have just barely enough money to go back to work again, just enough to be able to make it to payday so that you can um, buy groceries and gas and food and uh, uh, you know, things that you need, just to have barely enough to make it again. So what is that? That's slavery. That's exactly what the slaves always lived. You know, they tricked everybody. They said, oh, if free people have to use money and pay for their life, and then people that don't get money, those are the slaves. But if people freed each other, that's people being free. That's not slavery. That's being living the gift of living instead of the cost of living. The cost of living is slavery. That's why the money, like our money, is made from paper that's made from cotton. Why is it made from cotton? Because they created Adam's nation, a damn nation of cotton picking slavery. People picking cotton money for the cost of living instead of living the gift of living. They've created the human race instead of the human family because everybody's trying to get ahead of everybody, stay ahead of the bills, da da da. And so there's winners and losers in the human race, but in the human family, everybody's win. But what they tricked everybody into doing was using their imagination. They want you to imagination, you know. And so they gave people little army men and all that kind of stuff to imagine war and death and violence. But what they don't teach you is to use your imagine heaven and make the experience of living heaven. No, they don't want you to think about that. They want you to just say, no, heaven happens when you die, because you can't verify that, because that's not how it works. The only way heaven happens if you die is if you make heaven here and now. That way when you're born again, you come back to heaven. But if you don't, then you come back to hell and you just work as a slave again, because that's what the experience of living is for most people, or for at least many people on earth. Is it's not the gift of living, it's the cost of living. They tricked everybody. That's why it's called Washington D.C. D.C. Deceivers, deceiving the whole world, even the very elect. It's electric. It's electric, boogie, woogie, woogie. Electric. It's a trick, yeah. That's why Elon Musk, with his electric cars, was working with Trump. But either side you look, it's a red pill, blue pill, Republican, Democrat. Both pills offered by Morpheus. Who's that? Morpheus. Pay up, buddy. Pay for the gift of living, because it's not a gift, it's the cost of living.